You walked your Camino, received your Compostela, got your plane back home. Now what? That's our topic for this video. Thanks for joining us. I've just returned from my annual 3 months of walking around Spain with a backpack and blue scoot. Once again, an amazing trip, but it's good to be back home and doing these videos again. If you're new to this channel, thanks for joining. If you're a regular, great to see you again. So let's dive into the topic for this video, unpacking from your Camino. When you decided to embark upon your Camino journey, you probably felt a mix of excitement and anticipation, maybe even a little overwhelmed. It's completely normal to start planning months, if not years ahead of time. You likely began by diving into research to find the route that called to you, imagining each step along the way. As you considered the best time of year to walk, you may have thought about the weather, daylight hours, and the bustling crowds during peak tourist season, or rather, peak pilgrim season. It can be a lot to balance, securing accommodations in advance, especially during those busy pilgrim times. It was probably a key part of your plan. Creating a packing list must have felt like an essential step in your journey, gathering together everything you need, such as your hiking boots or shoes, lightweight clothing, a sleeping bag or a liner, toiletries, first aid kit, and that all-important pilgrim credential or your pilgrim passport. Each item represented your readiness for the adventure ahead. But beyond the logistics, you needed to prepare your body for the challenge. You might have started training 4 to 6 months before your departure, adjusting to longer hikes and varying terrains. In that last month, carrying your fully packed backpack must have felt like a rite of passage, giving you a glimpse of what was to come and building your confidence as you anticipated the journey ahead. Your thorough preparation was a testament to your commitment and desire to embrace the Camino experience fully. Now that your Camino journey has come to an end and you've returned home, it's perfectly normal to wonder if you can just simply slip back into your old routine. But the reality is, you have changed, and that's okay. You've faced some incredible highs and perhaps some challenging lows along the way. It's important to recognize and honor this transformation. Allow yourself the time and space to adjust to your new perspective. You dedicated months or even years to preparing for this journey, so it makes sense to spend an equal amount of time, if not more, processing and embracing all that you have learned and experienced. Remember, it's a journey of the heart as much as a physical one. So give yourself grace during this transition. I'd like to share with you what has been helpful for me on my journey, hoping that you might use it as an outline and develop one for yourself. Taking time to unpack everything you encountered on the Camino is important, as the lessons and the insights you've gained deserve to thrive in your life at home. You're not alone in this process, and it's perfectly okay to seek ways to keep those experiences alive. Let's start off with the waking moments of the Camino day or what I do in my waking moments. When I wake up, I find comfort in a beautiful Jewish prayer called Moda Ani, which means I give thanks. This simple yet profound prayer helps me acknowledge that the divine has graciously returned my soul to my body, granting me the gift of another wonderful day to embrace. It's often said that the first words we speak upon waking are like the trunk of a tree, shaping the branches of everything that will unfold during the day. So in saying this prayer, it's like I'm starting my tree, the shape of my day. As I get out of bed and I prepare for my day on the Camino, it's always important to consider the environment around you. You may find yourself in an albergue where others are still sleeping, making it less than ideal to take a shower. Or perhaps you're fortunate enough to be in a beautiful hotel with a luxurious soaking tub where you can indulge in a relaxing bubble bath. While I personally cherish that experience, I've also come to appreciate the mornings when I had to forego comfort for the sake of those around me. This situation teaches us valuable lessons in empathy and consideration. It's a gentle reminder that our choices can impact others, and being mindful of their needs can lead us to a deeper understanding of the people in our lives. As I move through my Camino day, there's a moment that I cherish deeply, that first cup of coffee. I find joy in beginning my walk just before daylight, knowing that it will be a little while before coffee shops open. After walking for 1 or 2 hours, I finally arrive in a town or a village, and there's a rush of excitement when I spot a place to grab a cup. Stepping inside with my backpack and blue scoot, I can't help but feel a sense of anticipation as I order my coffee con leche grande along with a warm bizcocho or churros. The sound of the steaming machine brings a comforting melody, and the rich aroma wraps around me like a warm embrace, ready to awaken all my senses. As I accept my drink and the treat, I hold them as if they're a precious treasure, making my way to a cozy table and a chair. And when I take that first sip, it truly feels like a little piece of heaven. So what lessons can I take away from this experience? At home, the coffee machine is always there, ready for a push of a button to begin the dance. It's easy and available anytime. So I appreciate that. While the machine is doing its dance, taking a moment to reflect on those moments in those bars, the people making the coffee, the other pilgrims that I met in that moment. Then I sit down and I take that first sip and I enjoy it just as I did on the Camino. And all of those memories just come flooding in. That's how I keep my Camino alive at home with my cup of coffee. At the end of a long day, after I've checked into my lodging, I find myself faced with the task of doing laundry. As someone who prefers to pack light, I only bring one set of clothes, which means I need to wash them every night. This might sound like a hassle to some, but surprisingly, I've come to enjoy this little evening ritual. I start this process by hopping into the shower with my clothes on that need washing, or I toss all my clothes into the bathtub and then I get in. It's a very unique experience, using all my clothes like a washcloth. I clean myself while simultaneously taking care of my laundry. There's something almost soothing about it. Once I'm done, I turn it into a fun little game, trying to find creative and unexpected places to hang my clothes up to dry. I found some pretty quirky spots along the way. One of my favorite tricks is to drape my clothes over the top of a hotel refrigerator in a cabinet. You might be surprised to know there's a surprising amount of heat in there, and my clothes are always dry and ready for the next day. It's a small victory that adds a bit of joy to my routine. So how do I bring this lesson from the Camino home to my everyday life here? Every time I put my clothes in that laundry hamper, every time I put my clothes in that washing machine and into a dryer, I remember those days in that albergue where I had to do my laundry every night and find a fun place for it to dry and then put it on the next morning. It's a fun memory. Next, let's take a moment to embrace the spirit of gratitude as I reflect on this memory. When I first come home each year after my 3 months of walking Caminos, I'm always overwhelmed by the many familiar aspects of my daily life that surfaced. Perhaps what is most noticeable is stepping into my closet and seeing all the clothes that I have to choose from, clean, neatly hung, patiently waiting for me to select something to wear. It reminds me of the comfort and abundance I often take for granted, and it fills me with appreciation for the little things that bring us joy. I would like to conclude this part of the video with that item I always enter my day with. If you've followed me on Facebook and watched my videos, you know that I love to take a glass of wine to bed with me. It's the way that I finish my long day of walking. I snuggle into my bedding, pull out my phone, sip my wine as I log in my day. I also always call my husband and say goodnight or good morning in his time zone. But the point here is taking the time to reflect on your day, be it on the Camino or be it at home. On the Camino, who did you meet and how did they impact your day? How about that lovely hospitalier who greeted you with a cold glass of sweet tea? Remembering all those little details are very important, not only during your Camino time, but also at home as you unpack. One of the most beautiful parts of the Camino life is the wonderful souls that you meet from every corner of the globe. This past June, while I was settling into an albergue in Ponferrada with Fred and all of his charging cables spread across the table, a lovely woman named Melanie from Canada walked in. We struck up a conversation and instantly became Camino family. Our paths crossed several more times along the way, and I'm so happy to say that we've stayed in touch ever since. As this was Melanie's very first Camino, I thought her reflections on this unpacking process would be truly special to share. I'm delighted to have Melanie here to tell us about her experience.
Hi, my name's Melanie and I'm from Canada, and I walked the Camino Frances from Saint-Jean-Pied-de-Port to Santiago de Compostela at the end of April till the beginning of, the first week of June of 2026. Gigi asked me to say a bit about my journey to the Camino and the process of unpacking after the Camino. I know that means a very different thing to many different people, but as far as my experience goes, here goes. So I went to the Camino for my 60th birthday, and I wanted just time to myself just to have the space and time to just think about where I'd like to go with the rest of my life. I tend to be a very task-oriented person, somebody who very frequently puts others in front of myself as far as what I do in a day, and it was just becoming really exhausting, and I'm grateful that I was able to do it, but it comes at the cost of me at times just feeling very tired, and I knew I don't want to continue with some of these patterns going forward in life. So I was always wanting to do the Camino. I love adventure. I love scenery. I love history. So for many reasons, the Camino was really calling to me. And I am so thrilled that I was able to do that. While on the Camino, I was pleasantly surprised to realize just how simple life became. It was really just the day was planned automatically, in the sense of you woke up, you went for your walk through the day, you stopped in small villages, you went to cafes, you met different people from all around the world. You had, sometimes lighthearted conversations, sometimes really in-depth personal conversations with people. And it really gave me an awareness of myself, and taught me a lot about other people and what they might be experiencing. And I was so grateful for that, just to experience life in that way. When I did come home, I wanted to carry some of that with me, because I loved it, that experience. My body loved it. My mind loved it. My spirit loved it. I just felt healthy and strong, and there was just so many different lessons that I learned at different parts of the time. And coming home, I really wanted to instill some of those really healthful ways of living that I learned while, experiencing those weeks on my own. Now, I went on my own, but I was never felt alone, because there's just so many opportunities to meet people, to connect with others. And I wanted to really bring that home, particularly because I found in my own personal connections with people, or just when you meet people at the grocery store or just anywhere in my daily life, I was still always very task-oriented, and I felt like I was just rushing through things and rushing through conversations, and I really wanted to become more present with individual moments in my life. So I've really been trying to do that. I set my phone away. I don't check messages or, immediately pick up my phone if I hear it ding. In fact, sometimes I just leave it away in my purse with the ringer off, to purposely spend time and be really present with others that I am around. And I'm really enjoying that. Is it perfect? No, obviously not. Am I mastering it? No, for sure. But I am feeling that I am definitely more connected, more present, and I want to continue doing those kinds of things. I also am trying to be very cautious of myself. I'm glad that I now can work towards this other way that I'm really appreciating. So there's also a few other things. I unpacked my backpack, and I cleaned my clothes, and I put away my credential. But I admit, my backpack is still sitting there waiting to go again if I so choose to do that. That's available to me in my mind, so that makes me feel really a lot of comfort in that way. I'm also making the effort every day to make sure I do take time to move my body, go for a walk with a friend, or go for a walk by myself. Take quiet time for myself to read, or just spend time in my garden, not actually pulling the weeds, but actually just appreciating how beautiful the flowers are, or watching some of the bugs. On the Camino, I was always looking at the snails or a flower, and I didn't have to do any work to it at all. I just could appreciate it. So I am trying to do that. Other things that I'm trying to do, are just going to be ongoing, but I think we go through that, and that's okay, because the Camino is not going to answer everything for us immediately. I think over time, we become more and more aware of other things, but it's definitely not going to be all answered all in the first few weeks, or maybe even years to come. Probably why most of us all want to go back again. So I also would love to just walk into cafes, or when I pass somebody on the street when I'm walking, and say Buen Camino, because it was just, I loved it. Absolutely adored the way that life was simple on the Camino. We were all walking in the same direction for many different reasons, but we all had a goal of arriving in Santiago. That means many things to lots of us. So lots of different answers to that, but I'm grateful for the experience, and I hope this makes sense. I hope you have a great day. Buen Camino.
Oh, Melanie, thank you so much for sharing your journey with us. You know, we really are a Camino family, and we will stay in touch. I truly hope that our paths cross again on another Camino down the road. You captured it perfectly when you said that even though you started out on your own, you were never truly alone. That's the beautiful magic of the Camino. Even when you're walking solo, you're surrounded by the spirit of everyone who has walked, is walking, or who will walk right beside you. It's time for some music. I always take great care to find and arrange pieces that truly resonate with the heart of our journey. Embracing solitude on your Camino is such a beautiful, gentle gift to give to yourself. To honor that, I've chosen Duke Ellington's soulful Solitude. In his original recording, it begins as a gentle piano solo, much like a quiet start to your pilgrimage. As the melody unfolds, more instruments join in, mirroring how your path gradually fills with the warmth of fellow travelers. By the end, you aren't just walking alone anymore. You've become a part of a beautiful, vibrant Camino family. Please enjoy Duke Ellington's Solitude.